Okay, hold on. So to kick off this, because we're about to kick off the episode, this is going to be our favorite stuff of 2017, comics, movies, stuff like that. But I want to open this up because Rob and I could not remember this, and maybe one of you two guys. Where did Splooge start?
He was just so excited about like getting a sub that it was going to make him splooge, and then people really like jumped on that.
People really jumped on that.
He was just, he was like, literally. I think you were just like, I'm just so excited that we're getting this many subs. It makes me want to splooge.
And he did.
And then he did.
Over. Man, you remember better than I do.
Some say he's still splooging today.
Consistently and thorough.
Oh God, it's thick and creamy too.
Oh,
that's gross.
Yeah. Welcome to 2018, everybody. It's all downhill from the line.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and kick this episode off right. Welcome back to the Weekly Poll. This is I'm going to go over a couple of admin notes real quick, but for those of you who may be joining us for the first time ever, I doubt that's the case because we promoted this on our channels where most people know what this is. But if you are, I'm Benny the Comicstorian. That is Sal from Comic Pop. That is Rob from Comics Explained. And that is Joel from Caped Joel. We run 4 of the biggest and best comic book channels on YouTube. I can say that because you know what? I'll be full of myself so they don't have to. But anyway.
Thanks, Benny.
But yes, we do, and we do a podcast every other week right here at the Twitch channel on these Tuesdays. We talk about comic books, movies, pop culture stuff, things along those lines. It used to be every other week, hence the name The Weekly Poll, but now we do it every other week because we want to have beefier topics to talk about so we don't have a BS episode. Okay?
Yeah, so the Weekly Poll is every 2 weeks, guys, not every week.
Right. If there is a big piece of news, we have talked. We'll probably do like a big special episode to cover it if it's on the off week. But overall, you can check back every other week. Anyway,
bingo.
For those of you guys who may be joining us for the first time after hearing all of me fucking up the video that explained everything, the Weekly Poll is here, and it stays on this channel for 1 week after we air it. If you want to watch it post this, then it's a $4.99 subscription to this channel to watch the Weekly Poll. All subs that come in during the Weekly Poll and the following day, because we don't stream that day, are all noted as being Weekly Poll subs. That money goes to fund Danielle, the wonderful person who is behind the scenes, who for 3 years has uploaded the podcast, created thumbnails with Sal, put it up on the audio for SoundCloud and iTunes, and I have funded that out of my pocket. So we're not doing any out-of-pocket funding anymore, but you guys have already been bringing us enough subs that we can go ahead and make this happen. If you're watching this and you want to see it for free on YouTube, that is 1 week after the fact. And the audio pretty much goes up within a few days whenever she gets around to doing it. It's not supposed to be a week out, but she does get to it. So
yeah.
That is the situation with that. Yes, I made a video. Yes, I said that it was going to be a month before it uploaded to YouTube. Yes, that was a mistake on my part. I didn't do any research. I just said, hey, that sounds like a random number. Then I found out other podcasts take a week. So I was like, that makes sense. Let's follow suit.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Makes sense, I guess.
So that is the situation with the podcast. No, it is not dead. No, we are not going away. We just want to have beefier topics to talk about. That is literally it. And if you want to talk to me, Rob, Sal, or Joel, we're always on Twitter talking about everying. And I stream on this channel like every weekend, and then when I'm not, Rob fills in, so we're fine. Like,
yeah, I was goofing around in Photoshop.
So anyway, that is the overall news about the Weekly Poll itself. Now, guys, how was your 2017?
Pretty good.
Good. No, Sal, yours was amazing because you got married, and so I want to give you an official congratulations.
That happened in my 2017. Yeah, the end of my 2017 rocked, man. I married this like totally hot chick named Tiffany.
I think I've heard of her.
The wedding was it was the best day of my life. Not to be cliche about it, but it really was. Like it was a rockin' affair. I had an amazing time. Hopefully those in attendance did as well. And
the food was amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Man.
Enjoyed it.
Dude, those little bite-sized things, man. Dude, we were crushing those, man. Dude, you guys don't understand, man. You guys in the Twitch chat right now. So we get there, and like there's little finger foods going around to everybody. Man, it was stuff like lamb. I was like, dude, holy shit, this is high profile. And dude, they were delicious as hell, man. Like, oh no, dude, they had these little cups with tomato soup and these little grilled cheese sandwiches. Dude, let me tell you something. Dude, I crushed those things. And then there was dinner afterwards.
Yeah,
I
there was
like,
dinner
man.
afterwards. Rob and I are
Yeah.
eating as many hors d'oeuvres as we can, going, well, this must be the
Yeah.
meal. Because this is literally filet mignon. This is grilled cheese. This is whole shrimps. Like, why would you have a meal after this? You had a meal after that.
Yeah.
And then
It was
another meal. Yeah.
The
No, it
shrimps,
was-
man. Dude, it was good as hell.
I missed out on those shrimps. I was so busy.
How
Yeah.
the hell does the guy who's getting married miss out on the shrimp? You think
I
they'd
know.
set some aside, you know?
I
Hey, we
really
did get
should've
a
requested
sub
those.
from That Silly Killy who wanted to actually say, congratulations, Sal, through this sub.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate
Awesome. Splooge.
Did you have the little dipping sauce that looks like ketchup and tastes like ketchup, but brother, it ain't
it.
ketchup?
It ain't ketchup. Yeah, it did.
Did you try chugging that sauce?
What?
Maybe.
Sal,
But,
I'm talking
yeah.
about Joel. I have this feeling he tried to chug that sauce.
Oh.
Perhaps.
Whoa,
I
cocktail
can
sauce is not
confirm or
ketchup.
deny.
Looks like it though.
Yeah, but it was a crazy, amazing affair. And then, of course, like, I don't like to draw. I don't like the drawn out thing where it's like you have the wedding and then you like have a honeymoon like 2 to 3 weeks later because you gotta coordinate everything. So like the next day we dropped all the stuff off from the affair, and then the next morning at 4 a.m. we flew to Disney World and we spent 9 days in Disney World, and that was super
Okay,
amazing.
I'm not
Dude,
gonna lie.
Disney World
I
is
gotta tell the
amazing.
story about Rob. Rob legit thought you went like to Africa or wherever you did that and said, "Here's our meetup." He thought you guys were traveling.
No,
the world.
okay, no, okay. We need to provide some context here. All right.
How worldly
Sal
of them.
Sal tweets out a picture, and he was like just visiting Africa, and or some shit like that. And I was like,
It was-
holy shit, you guys are in Africa?
It was
Yeah.
just visiting Africa at the fan meetup. Where is everyone? That's what he tweeted.
Yeah, we were at the
Yeah.
we were in Animal Kingdom, and
Yeah.
there's like a cool African section where like there's like a facade that looks like your typical street in Africa or whatever, and like I don't know, we sat down and we were like, oh, it'd be funny to take a picture and be like, well, we did the meetup in this continent that most of our fans probably aren't living in and would never be able to get to right now.
Dude,
So
I
where
thought
are
it
you?
was Africa, man. You didn't. I didn't know you guys had gone to Disney World.
That's true. I didn't really advertise it, but
Yeah, I thought Benny's like, no, Rob, they're in Disney World. I was like, well, excuse the fuck out of me. How the hell was I-
Rob must have been extra confused because then the next couple days you were tweeting about like people getting sick and everything. It's like, oh no, when you get sick in Africa, you get really sick.
Yeah, no, I
Oh.
did because like everyone I knew, like it seems like 2017 was like the year that everyone got a cold at the exact same time.
Oh shit, yeah, Gary. Actually, I think I caught my cold when I was in Jersey because I went down to that main street, and then I caught an Uber down. And then I had to walk over to a vape shop. Dude, let me tell you something, man. Dude,
I
winter
remember
in
that.
Jerseys are cold as balls.
It's cold.
Oh, I was like,
Dude,
holy
it
hell,
was-
man!
New Year's Eve, it was 2 degrees.
Wow.
It was
that.
-4 in New York during New Year's Eve, and we're just watching
Yeah.
in my nice warm house, watching everyone at New Year's Eve.
Oh, dude, no. I used to go to New York for New Year's Eve. My buddy used to have a apartment with this beautiful like rooftop. We would watch the Times Square fireworks from his house in the middle of the city. But we were like, we stopped doing that since he had kids, and it's like, a bunch of like dudes in their house with their children. It doesn't really work anymore. So we started just chilling at my place. But it was great not having to go to New York City and deal
Yeah.
with all of that. Ugh.
All that craziness. Because getting
Yeah.
in is never the problem. Getting out is the problem.
Yeah.
Bingo.
No.
Escaping
Kentucky gets
from
cold
New
as
York.
balls. Kentucky gets down to the negatives
Yeah.
in the wintertime. Like, I'm used to the cold. I know what it's. I'm not from Florida, guys. Like, I know how cold it can get, man.
Florida,
Yeah.
just
Not-
you walk out of the house and you feel like you just took a shower.
Yeah, I will say
Okay.
when we went the first couple days, Florida was like 60. So I was like, this is still great. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it's still fantastic compared to the 12 degrees it was at home. And then the next 5 days it was 80, and I'm like, here we go. Yeah, that's what I was.
All right, I'm curious. For like everybody who's watching this right now, what's the coldest it's ever been since you've been there?
It was minus
Like, this-
30
this
here
is-
yesterday.
Minus 30?
Yeah.
He talks in Celsius, Rob.
I know. I'm gonna like. Are they gonna catch up on this? That they're on a different temperature thing
Are
than
you
me?
serious?
I knew Rob immediately was like, holy shit, and that's why I was like, he's in Celsius. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
not the same.
Well, you see here in Canada, it's a frozen tundra scape. Just to get my mail this morning, I had to fight a polar bear.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sitting here
High
thinking,
on my-
I'm like, dude, that's frostbite weather, man.
Yeah.
Like that's losing
Yeah.
fingers.
See, negative 22 Celsius in Ontario, negative 25. Rob does not understand Celsius.
No, I understand Celsius. I just never really use Celsius because I'm American.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
there's two ways to do things, the American way and the wrong way.
And the wrong way, yeah.
Well, there's also the American Junior way, a.k.a. Canadian way.
Hey,
Oh!
But no, anyway,
How
so, no,
booty.
like, dude, Sal, that was a beautiful wedding ceremony.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah,
I do appreciate
it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not to toot my own horn. I didn't do anything to make it good, but it was awesome.
Oh, dude, and here was a crazy thing. So we're heading there, and I'm like, dude, like, so, because when we get there, I'm like, okay, so, like, normally they have it outside. They're going to have it inside. I didn't know where the main area was.
Right.
It's like, well, I mean, I was like, I imagine they probably shoot it for outside, but then it started snowing really bad. So, like, now they're going to have the inside. And then, like, it started snowing. And, dude, I was looking, I can't remember, it wasn't Benny. It was, what's his name? From Comic Book Guys. And,
Yeah, you had
the
Ming
comic
there.
guy.
And
Yeah.
the other guy that I don't
Yeah,
know his
Bing
name.
and Mike were there.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, when you're Sal, you have like celebrities at your wedding, and so like,
because everyone from Jersey who's famous knows each other.
Yeah.
Ming literally lives 5 minutes from the location, so it was like.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, that works.
But I also know them, and they lived in the area, and they also hooked me up. We did those first look photographs at the stash. So
Yeah.
that
Those
morning
I
we
saw.
all like piled into limos, drove over to Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash, took a bunch of like bridal party photos, which will be out in the next 5 to 6 weeks or whatever. And yeah,
I'm really excited to see those actually.
me too, because I haven't seen any of them.
Which, by the way, I really dug that whole that folder you sent out to everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was really cool. Matt D. Brown. Matt D. Brown.
Oh God.
Sploo.
You're
Give it
wrapped
to
up
me,
for that one.
Jesus, Matt.
Give it to
Phrasing.
me, man. Give it to me.
Phrasing.
Man.
Shower me.
I'm imagining Matt standing there. I'm just like splooging. He's just like, yes, yes, all the splooges. Give me all your splooge. Oh man, that's rough.
So
Anyway, but yeah, thank you very much for the kindness.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone's been talking about it and stuff like that. So, for those of you guys who don't know, that was part of the reason why things got a little wonky with the weekly poll. Sal was busy planning a wedding.
Yeah, it's why everything on Comic Pop kind of like took a dive in terms of like content production. Like, I've been planning this wedding since last year, and everything ramped up from like September to now, or to then. So it was like, I missed most of Christmas as a result. Like there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to make like holiday specials and stuff. Just no. I made back issues and I made like letters pages and that's it. And I'm like, damn it. Which is why the weekly poll couldn't meet up because like also a couple of you guys had to go to Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Like stuff like that was going on, guys. On top of Rob and me being as busy as we normally are, him being tied up, and Joel just being like, "No one's talking to me."
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah.
We need another Rob. We need another Rob moment.
Oh no.
Do we need one for Amadeo? Do we need a splooge for Amadeo? Amadeo's like, man, what the hell's going on right now? Amadeo, man.
He's been here 30 months. He knows what's going on right now.
Amadeo knows what's up. Splooge. Amadeo. Splooge, my child.
My child? What?
No!
You made it weird.
That makes it worse.
There's a soundbite that won't be used against you.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Do you
so
really want this man explaining comics to your children when he's splooging on them?
I don't want to talk about.
Why can't Rob run for public office anymore? This is why.
Listen, apparently, no, this is fine.
Yeah. Apparently, it's totally. In fact, it might help him in some areas.
Yeah, people are like, no, he's really healthy.
This guy's pro splooge.
So, okay,
equal
well,
opportunity
Sal, I
exclusion.
want to talk about our favorite comics of the year and
Yes.
what we feel both DC and Marvel did. But before that, I want to go over to Joel. Joel, how was your 2017? Because no one ever talks to you.
Yeah, I know, right? What the
Awesome. So,
Oh my god,
Da 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 da
that
da.
was amazing. Awesome.
Yeah.
You virtually blew smoke into his face.
Yep.
And on
Well,
that note, Redneck Wrecker has gone ahead and resubbed.
Oh, that's a good name.
Rob,
Thank you.
Rob, give him the Rob love.
Okay, Joel, tell your story.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, just another year of, what is it? I think my channel really came into its own this year. I really knew what I was doing, stepped up everything on the production side, lost some weight, put it all back on again, got farsighted, which is good because, I read comics nice and close. I know if that was ever to fuck me up, that might be a problem. Watched some good TV, recorded some work I was proud of. Didn't play near as many games as I wanted to, but I got a bunch for Christmas. So I'm going to be working through my backlog soon. That's about it.
Nice.
Pretty easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rob, did anything important happen to you this year?
Across 1 million subs.
Woo! Woo! Oh, you
All
finally
claps.
got there? Oh, burn!
The dumb tish.
No, I'm playing around. I think mine was this year too, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Cool.
You moved. That was a big one.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I bought a house. That is kind of a big deal. It doesn't see.
It's a bit of a milestone,
I was just saying
see,
because I'm like, maybe he doesn't want to talk about it. All right, he doesn't care.
Well, I'm waiting to hear back from what's his name from Bob, which I talked to him earlier, and he was like, "Oh man, I had a granddaughter, so sorry, I've been tied up." I was like, "You had a granddaughter, man. Like, spend time with your granddaughter."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Wait a minute, just give me a heads up and let me know." So at this point, like, I bought a house that I'm not living in, which is kind of weird. So, yeah.
well, I mean,
kinda
you
crazy.
could technically just move into it.
When are you going to do that?
Well, I could, but the problem, like, I mean, I don't want them remodeling while I'm living in it.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you're right. I could just move into it, but I want to wait
Someone
until
who
they're done with the
needs quiet
basement.
to work.
Now,
Exactly,
I mean,
'cause they're
it
working on
is
the
your
fireplace.
property. You can get away with whatever
Yeah.
you want to do with it.
Oh, I know. I mean, it is kind of a weird transition, like a house, like owning a house, because all I've ever owned is like that big, loft condo thing, and so it's
Yeah.
like there's like neighbors that people can hear me, and like my
It's very adult.
that gay neighbor that I had doing what.
You have a
Brings
gay
him-
neighbor?
Well, I had one when I was in Lexington, and
Oh,
he was doing things that brought him enjoyment, and so
Don't we
it
all?
was, it was like, all right. I mean, I'm not sure that I want to hear that, but whatever, man. 2017, I guess, you do you, or let somebody else do.
That-
it.
Quite
Another guy.
literally, do you?
And I mean, I'm
Oh, it
sure
was-
if he was a straight neighbor too, that would have been equally as distracting as well.
Well,
if
I
he
mean,
was
it
just being
wasn't-
loud and inconsiderate.
It wasn't so much that he was doing him, so much as somebody else was doing him. But yeah. So moving on.
I was like, I don't know where I was going to go with this.
Yeah. It was.
Okay, I mean, for me, it was a lot of just canceling everything 2017. Like, no more traveling, no more doing anything.
Yeah.
Being tired, everything like
Yeah.
that. So, but you know what I didn't do? Go to Japan and film a dead body. You know,
Oh yeah. Man, don't you love on YouTube the bar just keeps getting lowered more and more every couple
well,
months?
What I find about that, what I find to be the funniest part about that is everyone else is now jumping on the clickbait bandwagon to be like, I disapprove of him doing this, and I'm just sitting here like, no fucking shit, you disapprove of him
Yeah.
doing this.
Oh gee, do you?
Oh, dude, that's all you find. Like
Yeah.
my response to such and such. It's like, well, you know what? Nobody cares. That's why nobody watches your channel.
Yeah.
Or like
What a
nobody
hill
gives
to
a
die
shit. So
on.
My response
Filming
to
dead
Logan
bodies is
Paul
wrong.
filming a dead body. I really think
Yeah.
he shouldn't have done that. And well, no, why? You're just making a video
Yeah.
to clickbait it. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know why
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
mean-
come out with a video about Logan Paul and the dead body thing? Because the fact of the matter is, I don't care. Let him do his. I mean, it was inappropriate, but I'm not going to talk about it because whatever.
well,
You
the biggest
understand, it was trending.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I jump on that bandwagon, I might trend too.
Yeah,
The only
maybe.
difference is that if you have dead body in your title, YouTube will probably demonetize you. They won't demonetize him.
No. Like it doesn't matter because he deleted it, so he lost all the
Yeah.
revenue that it generated. But no, it wasn't demonetized. From what I understand, like it was there, and then so people were freaking out because not only did he violate the rules and YouTube didn't care, YouTube, like, people look at it and they say YouTube was trending it.
Oh, yeah.
So there's different rules. There's a different set
It's
of rules.
almost like their system is broken and that there's haves and have-nots on YouTube.
So it's
If
yeah,
you're a
it's, that's,
blonde pretty boy, you can get away with anything.
yeah, that's why I tweeted out. I was
true
like,
in
all
life.
YouTubers are equal, but some people are more equal than others. Like that's
Jeez.
that's
Thanks,
that's
Adolf
what I threw it out.
Winkler.
Yeah. I was like, it's equality is relative. It depends on how big your channel is, how much money you make us.
Fancy
make us a lot of
so
money.
They're saying that the trending is handpicked. Yes, it is to a certain extent, but we don't know if it's all 100% or if there's also a mini thing in there as well, like an algorithm attached to it. I really doubt someone in the YouTube office handpicked the dead body video to go trending, unless they wanted to be fired.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else at YouTube is handled by goddamn robots anyway, so why would this also not be handled by robots?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, who in the world did this? The intern.
Fucking
He did
interns
it.
again.
I saw them do it. I watched them. Well, they can't access a computer. How did they? I don't know, man. These kids, they hack and stuff. Hacking. They had the hacks.
Hacksaws.
Yeah, I've heard about the
did
hacksaws.
Yeah, they did the hackster things.
Hack the planet, these kids say.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess maybe he saw hackers from like 1996.
1993 and whatever.
1993. Back when Angelina
Abstract,
Jolie
there will
was
be an
hot.
RBE this Saturday. Should be. We might skip it, but I believe we're on now. So yes, there should be one this Saturday.
I was going to say, well, while we're talking about, like, completely topical things and everything, did you see that Vice news writer who's getting raked over the coals for his top 10 comics of 2017 being like, there really weren't a lot of great comics this year, and I didn't even put 10 on the list, and everyone rightly so telling that guy to get fucked.
Yeah, and then on social media, he was like, I did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. Clickbait.
It was like,
And before people say, why are you talking shit about another publication? In the very article, he also talks shit about the AV Club, who put out a much better, much more solid top 10 list of the year.
yeah.
The comics industry reacts to Vice's inflammatory top 10 list. I guess my response to that is like, do these folks just not have anything else to do?
No,
Right.
that's the problem.
Because I don't give a shit.
Well, if I'm a professional comic writer, that would piss me off professionally. And some writers were dunking on the dude pretty hard. I forgot what Dan Jurgens said, but he said something really funny.
Normally, I would give Dan Jurgens shit, but he's currently writing some of the best Superman ever. So
He really is.
I don't know, man.
I
The
can't give
latest
Dan
one with
Jurgens
Booster
shit.
Gold, I feel like was just kind of like they're like, bring back Booster Gold, and he's like, I'll put him in a time travel story. That worked.
Well, I mean,
Hey, listen,
He
Sounds
created
like
Booster
great.
Gold, didn't he?
I think so.
That story
Yeah,
was
I mean,
awesome.
Yeah,
You like
I'm
it?
about it.
I'm having problems just like keeping my interest in it. Like I like the idea behind it and him going back and them discovering all this stuff. But at the same, I even tweeted about. I think it's just the art is just throwing me off. The art I do not like.
I mean, it's a repeat story because there's been stories where Superman, like in fact, there was an early story under Weisinger back in like the 50s or 60s, shortly after Superman's origin was retold, where he went back to see his dad and tried to save him from Krypton being destroyed.
Yeah.
So
It's well worn.
Uncharted. I mean, yeah, I mean they've tread these wide. Of course, and again, it is Superman.
Yeah.
So I mean,
The funny thing is, with respect to Action Comics and Superman and Dan Jurgens and Superman in general, like the Booster Gold story, I enjoyed it. I had a good time reading it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that book is you got to work really hard to make Superman consistently awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, it
Superman
will
is a
drop
great
off
character.
eventually.
Superman's a great character. He's timeless. He's wonderful. He's enduring. It's great. But this is like Superman 38's coming out this week. That's 38 consecutive issues of Superman that I've actually purchased for the first time ever.
Tell me about it.
Ever.
Yeah, no,
Like-
I agree. That Superman run by him has been amazing in general.
Yeah, Superman and Action Comics have been consistently great, but Action Comics slipped a couple times.
It did.
Yeah, but it wasn't the worst for me. I mean, no, but I kind of liked it though. Like mild mannered. Like the Clark Kent story was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
The ones where he had to fight the guys who were like, we know you're like, we know you're going to become a villain or whatever it is.
Yes, those time travel guys. Yeah.
And
they
the-
were-
God, I
the,
forgot about
Imperious
those guys.
Lex is
Yeah.
what that one
No,
was.
no, that wasn't Imperious Lex.
Yeah.
Imperious
No, that
Lex
was
is
even
the one
before
going on
that.
right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're thinking. Well, no, that's the one where the guy grabs Lex because he's gonna kill him.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, that's what it
Right.
was. He become Darkseid.
Yes.
That's what they said. You're going to become, and then Imperious Lex builds on that, and it's like he might. No, I'm sorry. The one before that. What was the one before that?
I forget its name.
Oh,
but yeah,
Manchester
the two-
Black? Or is that
No.
The two
No, no.
time traveling bad guys he's trying to say.
No. I'm sorry. There's the Imperious. There's the one where maybe it is Imperious Lex. The ones where he absorbs like all that energy from the Apocalyptian armor, and is like and briefly is like Darkseid, like looks exactly like Darkseid, in the helmet and everything. I think.
I don't remember that one.
Let me double check.
Was that during?
Dark Side War?
Yeah, was that
No, it
during
wasn't during Darkseid War. No, it was during the current run of DC Rebirth.
Tevia
Was it
says
Men of
that Men of
Steel?
Steel's when that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, Men of Steel is what that was.
Okay, well,
okay.
let's go on to the comic book topics then. Okay, let's go ahead and move over to that. So before we talk about what we feel both DC and Marvel slipped up on this year, let's talk about what is your favorite Marvel and DC book of the year. You got to pick one. One book. What is that book,
Jesus.
Sal? Putting you up first.
I think. Let me pull up the number.
A lot of the books I like aren't even done yet. Is the shocking thing.
I can only pick one. Like now, when you say one book,
Marvel,
you mean like,
and you're stuck on a desert island. You get to pick one run of a comic from 2017.
okay. So you're saying
One
titles.
run or one arc?
One run. We'll go with the
Okay.
full. So if you just like a hero,
Man.
but the arc sucked, give me the reason we're good.
But it's Marvel.
Marvel and DC. So like I'll go
Okay.
first. For
Go ahead.
Marvel, Gwenpool, and I'm really sad that Gwenpool's being
Oh,
canceled.
dude, you are all about Gwenpool.
Dude, I'm not the only one. It's proven by the internet.
Yes,
You
Gwenpool
are
is a
the
great.
Gwenpool lovingest person I ever met. I haven't read it. I have
It's
not
a
read
great
it.
book. You'd
Dude,
love it,
it is.
man.
I have
People
never
keep telling me
seen
it's good.
so much of a backlash to a cancellation.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that are like, I am swearing off Marvel until they bring back Gwenpool. And I'm like, as much as I loved Gwenpool, I never thought of it as being like a tentpole title that would bring people into Marvel.
wasn't.
I thought of it as being just a
No.
fun side story that I was enjoying because of the fourth wall breaking. But oh my
Yeah.
God, the amount of people that are like freaking out.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
because like there's two characters that came out from Marvel recently that were that were literally just a alternate cover design, like character design thing, and then they had to create a character out of it. Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool.
Yep.
I think Gwenpool's more successful than Spider-Gwen.
Oh, I
Did
think
her
so.
book last
Yeah.
longer?
No, Spider-Gwen's still going,
Yeah, no.
isn't it?
No.
Spider-Gwen's
Spider-Gwen's
still
done. Is it really?
They're doing the Gwenum story now where she's got the Venom
Yeah.
symbiote.
Do I have such face blindness for Spider-Gwen now? I thought it was
Apparently,
canceled.
yeah, she's been going.
Oh,
the
Jesus.
problem with Spider-Gwen is you could tell that it wasn't intended to be this long, so it definitely
No.
has its ups and downs, and you're like, oh, that one was shit. Oh, that one was good. Oh, that one was shit. You know?
That's the thing. I think that Spider-Gwen has the Star Wars problem where it's like there's only really 3 stories you can tell from in Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's only like a couple stories you can tell with Gwenpool or with Spider-Gwen. Gwenpool, like, just bringing in Chris Hastings was a stroke of genius because the dude is actually clever and intelligent and like took a concept like here's a cool drawing and then made it into a character that wasn't just like, oh, it's cool. It's as cool as the universe she lives in. Like Spider-Gwen's like, it's a cool costume. What if the universe were as cool as her costume?
Yeah,
Gwenpool's just a good book.
it is.
lightning
and that's
in a
the,
bottle,
And that's the
really.
thing because the first arc in Gwenpool, I was like, it's okay. Like I'll probably be on board because it's similar to Deadpool and I like Deadpool, but it's nothing special. And by the time you get to the end of the second arc, I was like, this is incredible. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time.
And
Which is-
Guri Hero's art is freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. So that's my pick for Marvel, my number 1 book of the year. I mean, sadly, there wasn't very much to pick from in Marvel, but that is the one I'm going with. A close second would have probably been All New Wolverine and the completion of the X-23 arc.
Also really solid.
Yeah, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, that
knows
was
how to
really good.
write.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
hold
could
on.
write the hell out of X-23.
I will say this: Tom Taylor knows how to make you care about the characters you're reading.
Oh, yeah.
about. Like
Very
reading
talented dude.
Injustice, the amount of shit that he pulls, you're like, "Is nobody? Do you have no editorial?"
Dude,
Yeah,
it was so great,
apparently
dude.
not.
Freaking Kyle Rayner got torn apart and dropped into the
I don't
sun.
want to spoil
I was
this,
like, holy
but the
hell.
latest one beats that.
Really?
The latest. I
Wow.
mean, it's like a month old now. I could probably do it as a spoiler, but like the latest big. Like I tweeted Tom Taylor. I was like, "How could you do this to me?" And Tom Taylor's response was, "That's only the beginning." I'm like, "How? No!"
Wow.
It's only just begun.
Jesus.
As
So,
far
okay,
as
and then on the
Mar-
DC side, I'm going to go with my favorite of the Rebirth titles, Flash. Joshua Williamson has done a really good job of building on what started with the New 52 for Barry Allen and then bringing it closer to classic Flash-style stories. And
Yeah.
I love his use of the speedsters because I've always kind of complained that the problem with the Flash is that the speedsters are overused or they're the only villain the Flash can really fight. He's done such
Yeah.
a good job of bringing everyone else into the fold. I really like it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Josh Williams is also just a great writer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Sure
is. He's pretty
Hellbiter is sick.
All right, Joel, what are your DC and Marvels?
All right, I'll start with DC. It's funny. I think some of the DC books I like the most are the ones that aren't even done right now, which, Batman White Knight kicked a lot of ass, but, it could be bad by the end. I don't know. It's really good so far. Mr. Miracle, really good. I don't know. Could be bad by the end. It's been great so far. Same with, Dark Knight's Metal and, Doomsday Clock, where it's they're not done. They're only a couple issues, even though there's, a glut of Dark Knight's Metal material over the year.
Yeah, but, dude... The ending of Doomsday Clock 2.
Holy
shit.
All I'm going to say is, you ate my breakfast.
Dude, that ending. Okay, you guys know the character I'm talking about. I want to know who's playing him. Because it's not the one we know.
No, it's not.
So it's who the hell's playing him?
We'll figure that out. I mean, I guess if you twisted my arm, I would say Superman, if only because Superman Reborn was this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, Okay, well, there you go. Then I will say Superman, if only on the super solid strength of that story that gave me everything I ever wanted and everything I was shouting at DC for the longest time. Just bring back the Superman I like. And they did, and everything was good with the universe again after that.
Okay, yeah. I will say this. I will agree with you on that because I didn't mind New 52 Superman, but I will say once we got the regular back and he started to be in the normal fold, I was relieved. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This was definitely lacking from New 52. This version of Superman.
I agree 100%, man. It was night and day. And it was the funniest thing. You read New 52 Superman, then you read Superman, Lois, and Clark. And you're like, yeah, man, screw that. I love this Superman.
Exactly.
I was starting to like the New 52 Superman. I was starting to get behind him. But at the same time, seeing this new one, I'm like, no, we needed this. DC needed this character back.
Yeah,
plus, that one had a genuinely great twist with who the extra Clark was, and it tied into the bigger mystery of Doomsday Clock and everything else. It just did everything it was supposed to, and it sold the importance of John Kent as the Superboy further, which was the marching order for that book, and it did a great job.
Dude, Jonathan Kent is my favorite character in DC Rebirth right now.
He's a huge success.
Oh yeah, Tevya, he's so much better than Connor. Get over it.
Yeah, Connor's like the angsty kid. I don't want to be the clone of Superman and kind of Lex Luthor. I want to be my own hero, so I'm going to be on Young Justice.
You can have people Titans of Tomorrow, Connor Kent, if you want.
Yeah.
But only for this one story. Marvel is interesting. I'm going to paraphrase someone out there, and I wish I remember who they are because I think they nailed it on the head. A lot of complaint with Marvel this year is they didn't have a lot of really good books, or they don't have a lot of good writers. They had lots of good books. The only problem is that their good books weren't their flagship titles, and it hasn't been that.
Oh, I know. That is so true.
Even Mighty Thor was super solid, but they didn't push it anywhere.
No.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Their marketing department just doesn't exist. I don't get that.
Infamous Iron Man was great, but it was not a flagship, and clearly they made him wrap that up before it was done. Because remember, they were saying Infamous Iron Man was going to join Wade's Avengers, and that's where they were going to go with it. Oh nope, gotta wrap it all up now.
I was telling Rob my theory on that. I think that they don't know what to do with Iron Man. So since Bendis was writing both of them, they canceled the other book so that they can take half of take a single issue, take half of it, and then combine them for the current Iron Man run.
It feels like that.
No. Bendis said it was always going to be canceled. It was only ever going to be a limited run. It was designed.
But they're still telling the story with that art style. That's what I think.
That's the thing. When I tweeted Bendis, he was like, "No, he's supposed." The story was supposed to be the hunt for Tony Stark.
Right.
Yeah.
And the idea was they were going to bring Tony Stark back, and Infamous Iron Man was going to help them do it. It wasn't going to be a series of individual stories. It was going to be him as part of the Iron Man universe, of the Iron Man landscape. I mean, eventually he would go back to having to be regular Doom, but no, I mean, it wasn't supposed to be a separate thing. But no, better than Infamous Iron Man, International Iron Man. Dude, I loved International Iron Man.
With his mom and everything.
It was so good. Yes, it was so good. It was the hunt for his mom. God, it was amazing.
A lot of people give it a lot of praise to Black Ball, which I've just started reading, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty solid. I can see why people like this. I'm interested to see where Saladin and Min goes next. Thor would be the obvious answer for me, and I put Thor on my best of list for 4 years running now. That's how long this is going, and it's still consistent. Miss Marvel is still great and consistent, but I'm gonna be a bit of a rebel on this one, and I'm gonna say something that I didn't see get enough love. And I think that's unfair because whether you loved it or hated it, it moved books and it was important. Nick Spencer's time on Captain America. He made that a must-read book again. And even in the numbers of my video reviews, when I started talking about Wade, everyone's like, oh, so this book isn't affecting the whole universe anymore? well, then I don't have to read Cap anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so
I
disappointing.
dropped off Cap. I mean,
No, dude, there's this amazing tie-in to Secret Empire when I think it was Sally Floyd. I don't think it was Sally Floyd. It was
Sally Floyd.
Yeah, it was Sally Floyd, and she goes to do an interview, and
It's
they're
like
like,
Ross Nixon, but with Captain America.
exactly. They're like, you can ask any question you want to, but don't ask about Vegas. And so, sure enough, like she turns around and she's like, she makes a snide comment. So like Las Vegas, and they're like, we're done here, and they throw her in jail. And she's like, you can't do this. I'm a reporter. He's like, oh, yes, I'm sure Twitter will be furious. And then just walks.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was a while
fucking
ago,
Nick
though.
Spencer. That's what I'm saying. I was like, that's amazing, dude. Nick Spencer fucking killed it with that comment.
He did.
That was his jab to Twitter. Like, fuck you, Twitter.
And he killed it on the Sam Wilson book, too, which is the other thing, because it's like his time on Cap wasn't just Steve. It was Sam, too. And I feel Sam Extra doesn't get as much love as it deserves, because it's like they could have kept going with that very easily. They chose not to, but they could have.
Yeah.
Rob, that Twitter thing is also amazing. That was so great twofold because number one, he's sticking it to everybody on Twitter who's been giving him a hard time, but it's also echoing when Sally Floyd made fun of him in Civil War I.
Yeah.
Oh,
she was like, "Do you even know what MySpace is?" And he's like, "Just because I don't know what," but he doesn't say. He's like, "Oh, I guess I don't get America," and it's as opposed to like, just because I don't know what a stupid fad technology like website is doesn't mean that I don't know what the spirit of America means.
yeah.
It was really good.
But like, yeah, I think that would be Nick Spencer's justification for not making fun. Like, he's like, no, I'm not making fun of all the people who make fun of me on Twitter. I'm making a MySpace reference. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Oh, he's really big on Twitter.
And like, obviously, we've argued about like the merits of Secret Empire, but I gotta say, as a run, the two Caps were really great, and I would say it's the most I've cared about Captain America, and the most Captain America has been relevant in pushing the Marvel universe in a very long time, like since the Brubaker day, since the Grunwald day.
Yeah, Grunwald's run.
Yeah, which is a long time ago now, but still very solid and still
That's
super
an
cool
old
stuff.
reference. Jesus.
Yeah.
I know.
That's like, yeah, man. You guys remember Walt Simonson's run of Thor? It's like, yeah, from like 40 years ago.
You guys remember
That's
Stan
one of
Lee's
3 runs
Fantastic
that are worth
Four?
reading. Yeah.
Indeed.
Dude, it's nuts.
Remember when Stan Lee? He rocked it. That was my favorite Fantastic Four.
People say
Yeah,
that,
man.
and it's so obnoxious. Like,
Oh,
they
dude.
literally, like, people will say, like, what's your favorite run on Spider-Man? They're like, I gotta say, I'm kind of partial to the Lee Ditko era. And it's like, you mean all 15 issues? Eat a dick.
Yeah. No, dude, it's hilarious. I saw that on Reddit one day. Somebody was like, I want to get into the X-Men. Where should I start? And some asshole was like, you got to start with Chris Claremont's run. And I like, this was back when I went to the Marvel subreddit, but I tried not to be an asshole. Did I reply to that? I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you do not need to start with a run from 1975. You don't have to go back that far.
Yeah. Now, that said, like, you could cherry pick it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I recommend this Claremont era. Boom. These trades.
Yeah.
There's good shit in there.
Read like these 5 stories and you'll be all set.
Exactly. And if you want to read what happens in between them, like, those back issues are always going to be there. Go grab them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
no,
I'm getting comments about connection. For the record, none of us have any real connections into the industry. Everyone
Not at
thinks
all,
that
no.
we have
Yeah.
like the ear of Marvel and DC. DC we
wish.
can talk to, but no one who has power.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If we did, all of us would have books.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And Marvel won't even talk to us. The first time that was a highlight of 2017. We'll go back to a second. Heather Antos sent me a tweet.
Wow, really? Nice.
Yeah, she told me that I should start mentioning the artists and the writers of the videos, and I was like, "You're right, I should be."
Thanks.
And then a bunch of fans attacked her. I was like, "What?"
Ouch. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that's what life is for Heather Antos.
Anyway, back to the thing though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just the side. It was funny because Rob was there when it happened, and I was like, "Rob, Heather Antos just tweeted me."
Yeah. I'm like, Heather
And
Antos
look,
never
it's getting
tweeted
raked
me.
over the coals.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Like, she never said anything to me. Like, that kind of hurts my feelings. Heather
Yeah, right?
Antos. It hurts my feelings you never said anything to me. She's never
No,
gonna
don't
see
send
this,
them
so.
after her.
No, please
Hands
don't.
on
That's-
top.
No, I'm not sending anybody after her. That's
Goddamn.
ridiculous. Let me tell you something. If anybody from Marvel is willing to like extend an olive branch, I'm not going to be like, get them. You know, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
No, we have connections that they'll bring us to the movies and stuff like that, guys. But like
Well, you
doing
do.
things like stopping a cancellation of a book or getting somebody a writing gig or art gig of it, we don't have those connections. Because like
Yeah,
Sal
if I-
said,
if I
we
did, David
we'd
Walker's
all
Luke
have a
Cage
comic.
would never have been canceled.
Yeah, we would
Dude,
all
that's-
have something going on within those companies. If we don't, like, and when we do, you'll see we have an in. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds like a show. Like you have like the Marvel editorial sitting around, you know, and then you got whoever the editor-in-chief is now, and they're like, okay, so we're gonna have to go ahead, like CG Sapolsky or whatever. It's like, we're gonna have to go ahead and we're gonna have to start canceling this book. So then suddenly the door just gets kicked down, and in walks the cast of the Weekly Pull. Actually, guys,
I'm thinking no.
I'm thinking no. Did you guys ever see that Key and Peele skit where they had Stan Lee? They were playing Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that exact same thing. It's like,
You know what? We are as effective as a change.org petition to get your favorite comic back. Oh!
Yeah.
yeah. We can change the
That
world like
stings in
Twitter
its
hashtags.
accuracy.
Exactly. Like changing my Facebook profile picture.
Yeah. We have that kind of impact on the comic.
Yeah.
Casey, you guys can say what you want, but we are tearing ourselves apart here. So
Yeah. No, if we did have influence, Gwenpool would have made out with the Comicstorian in the book.
yes, she would. No, she's like 16. She would not have.
Oh, she's 16?
Oh.
Depending
We
on what
never
state you're
figured
in.
out how old she is. She looks and acts 16. They reference
think
her being
she's-
young, but then she goes back to her world, and it's post-high school going into college era.
Yeah, no, I think she's in her like mid-20s.
Right. Well, they've also drawn her
very
looking
immature.
like she's 35 and 15. So I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, just however old Heather Antos is, that's how old Gwenpool is. 'cause
There we go.
that's-
Yeah, she's basically based on her at this point.
She literally is just Heather Antos.
And if I
Wow.
had any pull in the comic book world, you would see Green Arrow be more prominent in many more stories.
Okay, side note, let's talk about that real quick. How many times has DC tried to make Green Arrow important?
I mean,
They have.
every era that DC has, they're like,
Yeah.
Never
and a
quite.
Green Arrow.
I mean, hell, man, they had them like kidnap his girl and do terrible things to her
Mhm.
in order to try to make him relevant. Mike Grell wrote this amazing Longbow Hunter story,
Yeah.
and people were still like, don't care.
Exactly.
Nope.
it was
I
rough.
think the best era of Green, or not the best, but like one of the most successful like relaunches of Green Arrow was Kevin Smith's Quiver book.
Yeah.
Which is kind
Like-
of disappointing because like the Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino run was amazing.
Oh yeah.
It saved it. It really did. And then they put the TV show writers on it and it ruined it again. Maybe that's why I like Green Arrow so much. I see so much of myself in him. Oh, he almost gets it. He almost gets there. Oh, but then he falls back down again. Shit. Oh, well. I love you, Ollie.
And Rob, we had a sub while we were discussing that.
Did we?
Yes.
Splooge.
Okay, Sal, are you wrapped up, Joel? I'm not cutting you off.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, Sal, what was your Marvel and DC picks of the year?
Oh man. Well, since Joel mentioned every book that came out last year, it's gonna be hard to pick.
Sure did.
But let's see. As far as the problem, okay, my pick was gonna be Infamous Iron Man is one of the best books that came out in 2017 from Marvel, but that last issue sucked so much, it was almost like it wasn't worth it.
Hurt it, didn't it?
It was so terrible because it was such a throwaway, eat it like screw you, I don't care anymore, mic drop book that it was like, what the hell have you done? I got like, and then there's a lot of books that we don't know anything about. Like Marvel 2-in-1 #1 was great.
Yeah. It was so much better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I think Captain America 695 was fantastic.
No,
I have not read that yet.
It's so good. It's just Mark Waid and Chris Samney on Captain America. The first issue was amazing. Second issue was also great. It's just a really, really good series. But ultimately, I guess, like, as far as a run goes, the original Ryan Stegman, Jerry Conway, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows was a great Marvel series all the way up to the Time Jump.
Yeah.
The Time Jump, the last two issues of Time Jump are
So bad.
really bad.
Yeah, the 8
Real
years
quick, we
later.
had two
time
more
jump.
subs, Rob, so just throw that out there real fast.
Splooge and splooge. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
You
I
can feel
100%
it
agree with you
coming.
on that, Sal, because like
It's
I was
unbelievable.
loving that book. And
Yeah.
then they
Teaming up with
changed
the X-Men?
writer and the artist.
Oh, yeah.
8 years in the future, and Jodie Hauser has done nothing but write a story about May Parker whining. That is all she has written.
That's what's so disappointing because Jodie Hauser is an amazing writer.
She's a great writer. I
Yeah,
was so
she's
excited.
super good.
I
It's
was
super
excited when they
disappointing.
said she was on it, and these two issues, she has done nothing but whine, and Peter Parker's like, I gotta connect to my daughter, and it feels so ungenuine and so like I don't know what we're doing. I don't know.
It's just not. It's
It
not of the
doesn't
same
feel
quality.
like Spider-Man at all, and it doesn't feel like Spider-Man being a dad at all, which is what I feel the original run did really well. We still had Spider-Man, but Spider-Man being a father.
Yeah.
And this just feels like a bad movie.
It feels like either Jodie Houser had a Spider-Man pitch from whenever ago, and she's just dusted it off and realigned it to be this, or she's auditioning to write for real Spider-Man.
Right.
It does not feel like a legitimately solid pitch that like you would want to do in this context, because Renew Your Vows, its own universe, its own thing. You can do anything. She's choosing to do the most safe, boring things you could possibly do. It's just really not a good series. It's just the last 2 issues were really boring.
Well, also remember, though, she is kind of filling some big shoes, because literally Renew Your Vows kicked off with Peter Parker making a morally questionable choice. Like, one, I'm going to let Venom die, and 2, like, I'm just not going to be Spider-Man. I mean, I get it was a Secret Wars tie-in, but it kicked off with one hell of a start.
Yeah, but it's night and day. The Dan Slott Renew Your Vows versus the Jerry Conway Renew Your Vows, I think it's night and day as far as, like, the characterization and the execution. Dan Slott's Renew Your Vows, I am really, really not big on. I don't like
I didn't like the original run with that. And then I thought it was classic. To the main Amazing Spider-Man, like, we brought back, what was that villain's name?
Regent,
yeah. He basically retold the same story. And even at the character's comment, deja vu, I feel like we've done this before.
Well, yeah, I mean, that I agree with. And I'm not saying, it's obviously not the Peter Parker that people are used to, which, by the way, we got a sub, Splooge. EJ, Brandon, Splooge.
So, I don't know your name.
No, I mean, I get that it's not classic Peter Parker. I mean, I get that, but that's what made it so cool to me, is it was not classic Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's just, but anyway, but the Stegman Conway series was really, really solid. And it sold consistent, like, in a world where books, like, sales drop off every month, books sold consistently within the 20,000 units. So it kept the series going.
What I don't understand about that whole Renew Your Vows situation, I get that the writer had to move on and they wanted to move the artist.
I guess. What's Conway doing now? I don't know.
Well, maybe he just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, he's one of the like well-known writers. He can get away with whatever he wants, basically. But my question is, why did we need the time jump? We were building up a great story, and I know they kind of closed it out on a nice little high note, but I feel like we could have gotten so much more out of young Normie, or whatever his name was, and then May Parker. I feel like we could have gotten so much more out of both of those characters.
They reinvented the wheel for no reason.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I would say they upset the apple cart for no reason. Like, they just went, like, what do we need to do that for? It was really weird that they chose to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about stuff that was good. That one run was really, really good.
Yeah.
That was basically all of 2017, because we only had, we had 1 month of the bad one, so.
It's true. But like I said, honorable mentions go to the new series, Marvel 2-in-1 Captain America. Hopefully they continue to live up to the expectations. I've read a lot of I dropped off Mark Waid's Avengers. I didn't like it, and I dropped off of Mark Waid's Champions. Eventually, I just lost interest. But
nothing was happening.
No.
His Avengers refuses to start. We've had like 3 big sea changes in teams, and it never gets started.
And I don't know what his hard on is for Kang, but like, stop.
Gonna make Kang happen.
But having Wade and Samney on Cap, I think it's a fantastic series. But yeah, so those are my Marvel picks. As far as DC is concerned, Tomasi Superman is second to none. It's an amazing series. Since I can't say that because Joel said it, Super Sons.
You can say the same stuff. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Super Sons is testament to the fact that, like, maybe the future of DC could be in the younger generations.
Yeah.
But unlike the Marvel situation, and this is the debate we've had up and down about how I feel they're just doing it improperly, nothing against the characters, but I feel like DC is doing a great job of setting up these other characters to one day maybe take over. They're not going, okay, we have no main Batman as Superman. You only get the kids. They're like, here's what you want. Here's the additionals, you know?
Ironically, DC has always been good at maintaining legacies.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah.
You were going to say something?
Yeah, actually, I closed out my Skype by accident. Okay. No, it is interesting because it gives him a place. Like Damian Wayne has forever been the angsty young kid who's just like pissed off at the world. Mm-hmm. And now, they're actually giving him direction. Like, he's leader of the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
which is also
Like,
a good book.
Yeah, it's like it's a really good
But
book. Well, yeah, but I mean, who the hell was going to say no to him? So,
That's fair.
but yeah, and it works. I mean, they give him direction. Putting him alongside Jonathan Kent is amazing because Damien's is a lot like Bruce Wayne. Jonathan is a lot like Superman, but they're a lot like those characters at a young age, and so it's really interesting because it does kind of beg the question, like, will there come a time where Superman will step down? And like, I guarantee that time is coming. I guarantee DC's going to take the step, whether it's in 3 years, 5 years, or whatever, and Superman's going to take a back seat. And you're going to know they're testing that because you'll have an arc. You'll have like a few stories, 2 or 3 stories, where Superman's like, all right, I've got to step back from this. And Jonathan is going to be the one that's going to be like the main star of the Superman action. Yeah, and I'll read it. I mean, I'll
read the hell out of it. I like that.
They've already shown us what his future costume might look like, and it looks good.
It looks beast as hell.
It's why everyone likes Nightwing. Because you took time to develop Dick Grayson and then give him a mantle and let that character grow and then give him a book and give him a character and give him a costume. Like, there's a lot of really, really, like, good legacy decisions. That's why nobody likes Jason, because, like, he's supposed to be dead.
Right. Yeah. No, I love Red Hood now. What I'm saying
but like, that's what
Jason
he's done.
took over,
like,
instead of earning all of that like Dick Grayson did, they just tried to throw him in there, and that's why nobody likes Jason.
Well,
I love Red Hood, so fuck you, Sal.
They also gave Dick Grayson
I understand that there are fans for Red Hood, and I completely respect that, even if it flies in the face of Batman's mythology. That said, I think that like they debuted Red Hood during a time when they had lost their ability to like build legacy and grow, and like when they were thinking about the immediate future instead of thinking like, well, here's the thing, what's a better idea? Letting a character grow and become a new character, or bringing another character back from the dead and making them be whatever you want. Like, ultimately, bringing a character back to life is a creatively bankrupt idea compared to moving forward within the context of your own story. And I don't mean that necessarily is applicable every single time, but I am saying if you're comparing Dick to Jason, Dick is a better character because Jason was created kind of out of need. He was literally a placeholder for Dick in the first place. Blah blah blah. Not to go on a tear about that, but like. When Jason Todd was brought back and became the Red Hood, it was like, oh, but wouldn't this idea, this gimmick be really cool? And then ultimately it was, and it satisfied this really solid story under the Red Hood, and then they didn't have any more ideas.
And it's been
that I agree
forever
with
since.
because he has not had a lot of good stories. Recently, the New 52 Outlaws was a great like idea, which had its up and downs. The current run is amazing, though. I will say that.
Yeah, Genius Bizarro. The good run, the current run's good because Bizarro is smart. Like, that's why it's fun.
Well, no,
I like the current run
because
of
it's the
Bizarro.
natural progression of Jason. Jason's went from being the loner guy who wanted nothing to do with the Batman family and had his own ideas and wanted to fight against them, to the guy who was trying to kind of like rediscover himself in the original Outlaws run, where he's like, okay, maybe I can be a good guy. Maybe shooting people in the face is a bad idea.
Right. But then if he doesn't shoot people in the face, if he's not the Robin who shoots people in the face.
Right.
Then
well, he still does that. But anyway,
he loses the edgy teen crowd that are his biggest.
But then who the hell is he? He's just friggin' Arsenal. Like, he's just another.
Well,
who cares
that's why I feel like the current run with Bizarro has been so good, because they've even stated like, so because when he teamed up with Dick Grayson again, Dick Grayson's like, seeing you with Bizarro, it's like when I had you as a younger brother and I did it wrong, treat Bizarro right. So it's the natural progression for Jason to now have someone else that he's kind of mentoring and teaching. It's kind of funny that it's a Superman clone that's kind of a dumb child, but
yeah.
But hey, Morrison did that with Scarlet back in his run, but everyone forgets her.
But Super Sons is a phenomenal series. Also, it gave us Jorge Jimenez's art, which thank you very much. You're one of the best artists in DC's pantheon. DC Rebirth came out in 2017, and number 1.
Yeah,
and that was a great issue.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I did go on 17.
Didn't it? I thought it came out.
It came out in 2016.
Yeah, 2016, mid-16.
Came out in June last year.
You're a year off, Sal.
Oh well,
we're all getting old. We're all getting a touch of the dementia.
And I'll also throw out this book. I think it's one of the most boring books that's out there, but it is objectively a good series, despite the fact that I can't read it anymore because it's so painfully boring. The Wildstorm by Warren Ellis and Joshua Davis and John Davis Hunt.
Could something happen?
Yeah, Davis Hunt's art is great, and I don't doubt that Warren Ellis is doing something. It's just so fucking boring.
I love the way he's doing something.
I mean, it really is like, it's just, I recognize good movies and good comics when I see them, even if they're not for me. Like,
I agree with you on that one, because that's an argument I have with a lot of people. Like, not everything is for you. Not every single comic is written for you. I've read plenty of comics that I'm like, it's a sound comic. I don't give a shit about what's happening.
Exactly. I'm not going to tweet at Warren Ellis and be like, you got to change the Wildstorm and make them stupid again because that's the only way they work. Like, no, I just won't read it.
Yeah.
Can I say, too, this was the year I actually came around to Tom King's Batman, and it was only in the last 2 issues that he won me over. And all it took was bringing in Superman and Lois to be like, okay.
Hold on. Joel, you're not allowed to have another one before Rob gets to go.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not saying it was one of my favorites. I'm saying I came around to it.
If we're actually doing Sal's rule where we all get one, you both have just fucked Rob.
I thought we were just talking about comics in general. I just thought we were talking about shit.
We had to pick one originally.
All right, fair enough. Whatever.
Rob's sitting there like, great. So, Blue Beetle was great.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like Cyborg was a comic that DC released.
Sure
during
was.
that time
He's
period.
looking at the slim pickings of what's left over here. Did anyone read The Walking Dead?
No, it actually kind of surprises me. Like I'm at a toss up between 3 stories from Marvel.
All right, well, what are all 3 of them then?
The first one's Thanos. The second
You
one
will
is
not be quiet about that.
dude, because it's fucking amazing.
Okay, I
The
mean, I
sec-
don't deny that, but you
No,
will not.
right now in the current story, he's fighting his future self.
Well, I'd
Like-
say at least once a week, Rob comes over and goes, Man,
Thanos.
are you reading Thanos?
No, dude, it's the coolest thing because future Thanos has outlived everything, the universe and everything, and he's friends with the cosmic Ghost Rider, and so he's friends with Cosmic Ghost Rider. He yanks the younger version of himself into the future, and it's just like, dude, it's criminal how good it is. Anyway, Thanos, Ultimates and Ultimates 2. And then, which I kind of consider this to be one thing because it's just a continuation, and then Old Man Logan. Like those are the 3 that I'm kind of stuck on.
Dude, Old
Yeah,
Man Logan
Old-
is
How's the
really
new writer
solid.
on Old Man Logan?
I was
He's actually
concerned
really
when Jeff
good.
Lemire left, but I forget who's on it now, but he's not
Reston.
doing a bad job
Yeah.
so far.
Oh, he's doing an amazing job so far. Like
Well,
the only issue I have, the first story arc, he fights Maestro, which is cool,
Right.
and the Hulk family. But then Maestro's just like, well, I'm done here, and then just jumps away and leaves.
That was
And
my
that's-
only disappointment.
That's
They
it.
both
here's the
end
thing.
with them both being like, so we'll meet up later?
No.
You know, it's like, we'll meet up later for coffee, and Thanos is like, you haven't heard the last of me, Old Man Logan. And it's-
Because Mike Deodato Jr.'s art drawing Old Man Logan versus Maestro
Oh
looked
my God.
freaking dope, and I'm like,
Oh, so
I'm
good.
gonna wait for this to finish. I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's the ending is really, it's everything that happens from the beginning until like the last 3 pages is amazing, and then it just
Wow.
ends. And it's like, no, it's one of those things where I feel like Marvel Legacy cut it short.
Yeah.
They
I
were
think
supposed
so,
to end
too.
or something like that. Like that impacted a lot of stuff.
Did they is this Maestro Hulk from Future Imperfect and from Secret Wars? Did he survive or something?
That's the thing. They never tell you, and that's why you never find out where this Maestro Hulk is from. You assume he's from Secret Wars, and you never find out where. Well, the Hulk family's from the Old Man Logan, but you never find out how they get there. All you're told is the Maestro Hulk showed up somewhere on the line and took the Hulk family after original Banner Hulk died and brought them to Marvel Prime.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you
And it's really cool, and it's just like, but I mean, like, how did all that happen? Like, I'm
We
waiting
don't
for that
know
story.
why.
Isn't
Ah.
that what
I'm
Old Man
waiting for that
Logan's
story to
looking for?
explain
Half the comic? He's like, how did this
Yeah.
happen? And they're like, no, we're never going to tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm waiting to get that revelation because it's gonna be so cool. But anyway, no, from the DC side, honestly, I'd say Green Lanterns. Like Green
Yes.
Lanterns and Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Those are my 2 favorites. It's been crazy. The current Controller story arc is interesting. I don't think it's as great as like what Venditti's done before, but it's not finished yet. So we kind of have to wait and see, what it reveals. But I do like he's bringing that stuff back, and it's kind of funny because what he seems to be doing, because Sam Humphries' Green Lanterns was the introductory level to Green Lantern. Like if you never read Green Lantern, start with Green Lanterns by Sam Humphries, and then you're fine. But Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps brings back the controllers. And if it brings back the controllers, then Venditti's explaining who the controllers are, which means you're basically kind of getting this introductory course to the Green Lantern story. So it's cool. Like it's really, really solid. Like they're some of my favorites. I mean, I love kind of getting like catching up and at the same time, like, like reading everything that was going on at the moment. Like I love that aspect, and plus I love the idea of Jessica Cruz. And it's kind of funny because forever she was useless. She's like, oh, I'm just so scared. You know, she would just sit in her room and just be afraid all the time and never leave. You know, and it's like, okay, well, she's a pointless character that was introduced. And then she had that badass moment in Dark Side War where she's like, you know what? Fuck it, and then just like just took it all over.
They made her work really well.
They did, and they finally gave her a Green Lantern ring, and she's a Green Lantern now. And her and Simon Bass, I love the chemistry, the whole thing that works between the two. Like they're partners, and they don't want to have to be partners, but they end up working together. And then like he helps her overcome her fears and finally conjure constructs. And like I love that whole progression between the two of them. So I'm really excited to see what ends up coming later on down the pipe. But those are my calls, from that whole thing.
Oh. Run.
Yeah.
I like that none of us said metal.
The problem
it's because it's not done yet.
But metal's not done. Yeah, so I don't like stating if I like or dislike something when, like, for all we know, the next, like, everyone was like, oh, metal's amazing, and 5 and 6, Scott Snyder just did a whole bunch of PCP, and he's like, then Batman became a real bat. Like, we don't know.
It's really weird, isn't it? Like, Snyder kind of, like, just, either he, like, just won the lottery and doesn't give a shit about anything anymore, but it like just seems like out of nowhere he goes like, and by the way, like, I know that you like Black Mirror and all these other great things that I've done, but like, wouldn't it be fucking dope if like Starro came out of nowhere and Mongol and bat armor and metal and Plastic Man's an egg all the time? And it's like,
and Plastic Man's an egg.
We're not going to tell you where Starro came from. In fact, we'll make a joke about not knowing where Starro came from.
They did the same thing at the beginning, way back at the Forge, when they were just standing in front of Mongol, and someone's like, wasn't Mongol being taken off world, and they blew up War-World? And they're like, yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, who cares? I just want to draw Mongol, though.
Yeah, no, it is not. I wouldn't be surprised if Scott Snyder finishes Dark Knight's Metal and then he's like, and I'm now done, and he just walks away from DC. He's like, I'm finished now.
I'm gonna write vampires and witches.
Yeah, no, I imagine this is swan song for Batman because I mean think of all the work he's done. Like you got Black Mirror, which was his lead up to New 52. It was basically him writing his first real Batman story, and then he jumps into New 52.
Batman story.
Exactly, and then in New 52, it's just the whole Batman run is him. So Joker comes back, he's more sadistic than he's ever been. You got Batman Eternal, which brings back Hush. You got all these, like he basically rewrote the entirety of Batman in one of the greatest runs of all time. And then we get into Dark Knight's Metal, where it's like, and here's all the evil versions of Batman, and one of them is Doomsday. Like I mean, it's all those cool things, like Green Lantern Batman and Evil Flash Batman, and like fuck it, like all I did is I just went and scoured fan fictions and made them into characters. It's like, all right, cool, man. Like I'm down with this because it's badass as hell. And then it's like, and then here's Barbados, who's maybe a bat, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on what I want to do.
Maybe he's the bat who flew through the window. Maybe he's just saying that to fuck with him.
And look, I brought back Hawkman, and now he's the dragon.
Yeah, now sure Hawkman looks like an absolute dude. Hawkman looks amazing, dude, as like the guard of the Forger of Worlds. And it's funny because I made that video. I was like the most powerful, like Barbados' most powerful soldier. And in that video, because I was sitting there thinking when I was recording it, I was like, somebody's gonna be like, it's Hawkman. He's not that powerful. So I made this comment. I was like, after all, why would you put your weakest person in charge of the World Forge, the one place that everybody would try to go to stop you? Like, I mean, obviously he's going to be the most capable guy, but no, I mentioned like Dark Knight's Metal is going to finish. If we're talking about unfinished stories, if we're saying right now in this moment, every story that's going on, Doomsday Clock has my vote, dude. We're only 2 issues in. We got 10 more issues to go, but holy hell,
you can tell that Jeff Johns is writing Doomsday Clock as a fan of Watchmen. Not just this is a cash grab, as something that he actually wanted to write, and that's what I like about Doomsday Clock. It just doesn't feel like a DC cash grab.
We all know part of it
is, but at the same time, you get a sense that he actually enjoys writing this.
And I think he knows too, if he fucks it up, people are going to be mad at him forever.
Yeah, have you guys read those little backup features in the Doomsday Clock comics?
They're cool.
Dude, okay, so the coolest thing is the Superman theory? Like the government created superheroes because they all come from America. And I was like, holy hell, I never thought about that before. Like, it's so cool. Like it's one of the coolest things out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. And then
we also go ahead, Rob. Sorry. I thought you were done.
Fine, man. I mean, apparently I'm done talking.
No, I thought you were done. I'm sorry. You get one per year, Rob. And on the 2nd of January, I am apologizing and conceding that you are the better human being than me. That was your one.
So I get 363 more days of no apologies. It sucks. Oh well.
No, I was gonna say we have a special guest.
But what I was saying
We have a guest.
Is that it is kind of cool. We have a special guest.
Yeah.
Who?
If they're paying attention, they should be popping in now.
Maybe.
None of you.
God.
There we go.
Hey.
Oh, hey!
guys.
What's up? I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, who?
It's me.
There's like 1,000 names running through my mind, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
like, oh god, I just made
Yeah,
fun of
this
Scott Snyder. What if it's him?
No, guys, this is a secret intervention from one of you, but we'll find out who in just a minute.
I was trying to time this, and like Rob's just, it was awkward because I'm like, jump in now, and I'm like, hope she got that quick.
Wow. Oh, what's going on, girl?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not too much.
Growing your hair out?
A little bit. Probably.
Nice.
I'm probably just gonna shave it all off here in a little while. But it's cold as hell, and of course, short hair does not blend with cold very well.
No, it
Sadly.
doesn't.
I mean,
you
it
guys-
could.
You guys talking about your favorite comics from this year?
Exactly, and I thought, who would be better than the one person who won't care if there's no options left in DC and Marvel because she's got all the other options.
No, but there are, because my DC pick is Doom Patrol.
Ooh.
Ah, that's a
Young
good
Animal.
one from the
Because the
Animal
bulk
Run
of
thing.
Doom
Hit.
Patrol came out this year, and that book is awesome. I love what Gerard Way and Nick Darrington are doing. It's amazing. It's literally just here's the book. I'm not holding your hand. You either get it or you don't, and you're gonna have a good time because it is like crazy and off the wall, and there's actually a lot of emotion to it too. But like, it's I love it. It's so like not what you'd expect from necessarily a DC book because people haven't seen Doom Patrol in a really long time. But it totally follows with what Morrison had laid down before. So
Yes.
that's
And
my pick.
that was crazy. So is Cave Carson and the Cybernetic Guy. Like,
Yeah.
Like that's another one where it's like, who's smoking the crack? God damn it!
They all are over there. No, the whole young animal thing was a really brilliant idea, and I think they don't get as much of the limelight, especially with everything that's been happening lately.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. If anybody has like spare cash, definitely you should go check those out. For Marvel, you would think I'm going to go Doctor Strange, but this was a really weird year for Doctor Strange. Literally, at the beginning of the year, we leave Aaron behind. Then we have Secret Empire, the tie-ins, and then there's that weird thing where like issue 21 came out before issue 20,
Wait,
and then
what?
it was just
Yeah.
Oh, you don't remember
this
that?
year was a
Dennis
disaster.
Hopeless, man. Dennis Hopeless lives up to his name.
Wait, hold on. I legit, like, I didn't know, because I dropped off when Jason Aaron left. What? They released an issue ahead of another issue?
Yeah, because the Secret Wars tie-in had to come out, so that came out first, and then Aaron's like last issue came out after that. It was so messed up. It was so messed up.
Yeah.
And it's so Hopeless does his thing. It's not for me. And then they've got like two random like issues in between before Cates picks it up, and now he's like trying to bring it back, and it's just like this was not a year for Strange for me.
Oh no, Tiffany!
But
They
what?
brought back Sentry.
I know, but that's not Doctor Strange, man. It's
Yeah.
just in Doctor Strange.
No, it's the coolest thing. He was like, "All right, we need help. We need help. We have to bring back someone who can always win because he's Superman. So I'm gonna go get the Sentry."
Because
I know.
he's
His ass out of
Superman.
space.
Oh,
Yeah, he's back. We'll see what happens with that. But
nothing.
The unfortunate apocalypse when he left. How did they get him undead? Did they explain that?
Nope, I
No.
haven't explained it
yeah, that's how they explained it. But for Marvel, my pick would be the miniseries or event, whatever you want to call it, for Monsters Unleashed.
Oh.
That wasn't bad. I wish they had done
really
more with
enjoyed
it.
it. Huh?
I wish they had done more with it. Like, it got its own
They did.
spin-off, and it's not good.
I don't enjoy that, but I enjoyed that mini because it was a really nice palate cleanser to see the heroes working together. They all came together. They had to fight monsters. It was ridiculous. It was over the top. It was well drawn for most of the issues. There was a couple where it was like, because they had so many like writer or artists working on it. But I thought Cullen Bunn did a good job of just writing a summer blockbuster style event that didn't come out at the summer. But
Even the
For
tie-ins
me-
were great with that.
I know. But like you didn't need the tie-ins. You could have them or you couldn't. Like it was just, I thought it was a really well done thing that they did. It came and it went and everybody forgot about it. But it was a lot of fun. So
Didn't you
you know.
talk to a certain artist on that book?
I
At
did.
Baltimore Comic-Con?
Which one did I talk to?
Steve McNiven.
I did. Okay. I thought Steve McNiven, his issue was the first issue, and it was one of the better drawn. I think it was the best drawn one, honestly. He ended up giving me a copy because I didn't have mine. I was like, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll bring you. And he's like, no, you liked the book and you remembered it. He just gave me his copy and he signed it for me. And I was like, That was very sweet of him.
That's
I
adorable.
remembered it. Yeah.
Well, everybody forgot that book happened. I was just like, nah, it happened.
Well, it came out. Wasn't it like right before Secret Empire started like ramping up? So it was like
It
you're like,
came out
oh,
in the
monsters.
middle
Like, oh
of
my
it, I
god, Secret
think.
Empire.
It was like right after X-Men versus Inhumans, and in the lead up to Secret. It was in a terrible place.
It was in a bad place. Everybody assumed it was an event. It was not really an event. It really was just like, here's a fun miniseries where a bunch of superheroes come together and fight giant monsters, and then other monsters fight monsters. It's like
exactly.
Fine. Like sometimes you need that. You just need this like kind of like big, ridiculous, over the top thing. Go for it. It was fun. All the characters acted like themselves. I dug it.
Yeah.
And since you guys didn't talk about indie, my indie pick for the year has to be God Country by Donny Cates, because that book is amazing. And if you haven't read it, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's it.
I've gotten really bad about the indie. I would say probably the closest thing I've read this year was like Udon runs with Street Fighter. I read Street Fighter Unlimited. That was really good.
Technically, I mean, like some people might consider stuff like Cave Carson to be more of the independence. It's so creatively like driven.
That's what I figured.
And
Yeah.
I, if you want to go the indie route, I also read a lot of the Titan comics for Assassin's Creed. So
Well, there you go. That's great too. I mean, like honestly, like years ago when they put out the Witcher comics, I loved those too. I thought they were great. I thought they were really
Titan
well done.
Comics does some really good tie-in books.
Yeah, they really do. But also in the indie realm, Extremity, if you're looking for something that's more violent in nature, and a little more like a crazy post-apocalyptic like fantasy style war. Not really fantasy, but like I attribute it with that because there's like airships and crazy warriors and like robots. It's swear to God, it's like Studio Ghibli made a apocalyptic comic book. That's what it reminds me of.
Sweet.
Ooh,
But yeah.
did Reborn also come out?
Yeah, no, I think it finished.
Yeah, Reborn's last year, I think. I think it was
Ah.
2016, I should say.
I think the bulk of it was 2016, but even still, I think God Country is better than Reborn. That's just me. I mean, they're both good, but God Country, knocks it out of the park for me.
Right.
And now Cates is taking over the world, getting all these other big writing gigs all over the place.
know.
Rightfully deserved.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. He just better not mess up Strange.
Or else.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
Or
he's
else-
going
I
to.
mean-
You're going to have to deal.
Dude,
Look
it
what happened.
is.
Okay.
Oh, it is hilarious because like you're the only person that I know that actually wore like funeral garb when Doctor Strange was killed by Doctor Doom.
I know that was messed up, man. Doom was like his friend in that situation. He helps get his mom back in Triumph and Torment. And he just kills him. Nah.
It was pretty baller. Like
It
it was. I
was.
mean, he just waves his hand and just like kills Strange, and I
How
was like,
makes him?
yeah.
He's nothing.
Damn, I was
Yeah,
like, dude,
unacceptable.
Jonathan. Man,
Secret Wars was so good.
Secret
Yeah,
Wars
it
was.
was.
Really good.
there were so many great
Can
moments.
we pretend Secret Empire never happened and just have Secret Wars again?
No,
Yeah,
I like Secret Empire.
They just re-released it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the remastered version.
Oh, they're going to at some
Okay,
point.
so there's one question
Hey.
I want to ask you guys here, and if you haven't talked about it, then just say, hey, we're still discussing the plans because we've been getting a lot of questions about it. But Tiffany and Joel, do you have the plans for the poll yet? Do you know what you want to do? Is there an announcement, or are you still discussing it?
We haven't
We
talked
haven't
yet.
discussed anything. I
Okay.
was a little busy this month.
Okay, well, I know, and that
This
just
is my
we
first
keep
time
getting asked
seeing
the
either of
questions,
them,
and the
Benny.
two people who are supposed to have the answer eventually are here. I figured
Yes.
I'd just double check, but if you don't have the answer yet, that's fine. We'll figure it out later. Okay.
But
Yeah.
there will be an answer.
Oh,
And
well, I
it-
assumed eventually you will have one.
And it will be a good one. You just wait and see what kind of answer
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
No,
was like
I'm
me.
curious. Let's sit here. Why don't you guys discuss it openly?
No, I was gonna say that was like me in high school. Like I have my homework and it is so done. You just wait till I find it
Oh, yeah.
because I didn't do it.
Because I
My
did.
printer was out of ink. Yeah, that's why.
So, all right. Well, I guess that's pretty much the end of the year. Nothing else really bad happened at all, as far as I could think of. Right? I mean, Secret Empire was a thing that happened.
happened.
Yeah. That like it or hate it, it happened, and it
Rob's
you know
muted,
it,
so I guess we can just keep going about how bad it was.
and it clearly ended not the way that Spencer wanted it to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
mean,
read that amazing? Did you read that amazing Hollywood Reporter article where they were like, Nick Spencer promised that that Steve Rogers that the story would end with Steve Rogers' heart and without punching someone in the face, and of course it
Yeah.
ended with Steve Rogers being
all
replaced
of that.
by another Steve Rogers and punching him in the face.
I read that, and you know what else I really liked? Remember when Marvel had like those little one-shots, like for Darkhawk and Power Pack, and they had Not Brand Ek, which was like their little comedy anthology series. Nick Spencer wrote a comedy anthology, basically abridging Secret Empire, and he takes a lot of really funny jabs about how it was supposed to end in that. Go check that one out if you haven't.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather it had ended with something like Dark Reign.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
I mean,
like the
if
bad
you
guys.
read the supposed leaks, and we'll never
was
know
the
how
rumor.
true those were, but that was where it was supposed to go. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for all we know, those could have been true. Those could have just been some fan like Rob sitting there going, "You know, it'd be cool if it was like Dark Reign." Guess what? I just heard through the leaked. You know, what I mean? That's all we know.
Yeah.
Sources close to my butthole have said. Thank you.
So, but in the words of Rob, Secret Empire, that's the thing that happened.
No, I love Secret Empire, man.
I liked it too.
No,
God, it
I'm
was
messing
so
with
good.
Rob. He always likes to use that terminology whenever he doesn't like
Yeah.
something.
When he doesn't like
Yeah.
it, that happened.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's a
thing
thing
that
that
happened.
You know what? There's a
Venomverse also
story, and it was there. For me, that was like a slog at times. Like there were issues on that where I was just like, oh my god.
I'm just happy that it did resolve in a manner that was, you know, what am I trying to think? I'm just happy that DC wasn't doing an event at the same time. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
had
yeah.
a saving grace. If they were both doing an event, and if DC put out a shitty event, we would have had like 0 good event comics happening this year. And so
Yeah.
I'm just glad that DC was like, let them do their thing. We're just doing Rebirth.
Either that, or they could have released an amazing event, and then it would have just quashed Secret Empire.
This is true.
Yes.
But
And it would have been a
I'm happy they
disaster.
took the safe route.
Well-
However,
However,
everything is.
do you remember Batman, like just a single issue of Batman outsold Secret Empire twice?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
The main book.
Yeah. It
Now
was
that's
crazy.
it. Was that the button or
I
something?
was wondering
There
that
was.
too.
It was a
There
button
you go.
issue.
Yeah.
The
I
button
forgot
was
about the
technically
button.
An event.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That
okay,
was also
well, I
solid.
think that's a good place to leave off with the weekly poll for this week. That now going on our new schedule, unless something big happens, which I don't think it will, because it's the beginning of the year and everyone's keeping quiet on the Twitters and the social medias. But the weekly poll will be back in 2 weeks, unless something happens.
June the 16th.
Huh? June 16th
16th,
or
right?
July? Yeah, June 16th we'll return.
June 16th, we'll be back.
Hey, that's a month before my birthday.
We'll say we're the twice yearly poll.
Exactly.
But boy, do we make
poll.
it count.
Yeah.
Every episode is 4 hours long.
Except this one. This one we're going to cancel at the usual time. So yes, no, guys, thank you for joining us today. We're going to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back on January 16th. That'll be your next guaranteed episode of the Weekly Poll. Don't forget, all subscriptions that come in, like from this point onward until tomorrow, they all go towards supporting the Weekly Poll behind the scenes. That's to keep up the uploads and to keep the downloads going and to keep everything where it should be and all those things. It's not so that Joel can buy more tracksuits. Any excess money will go to Joel's tracksuits, though, just so you know.
Yes.
So he can have a larger collection of them.
Papa
If you
needs
enjoyed
his
today's show,
tracksuits.
I'm Benny the Comicstorian. Above me in the left side is Rob from Comics Explained. He looks like he just read a really bad article.
Actually, yeah.
What'd you read?
No, I'm messing around.
Okay.
No.
Over there is
Good article.
Joel from Cape Joel, and above the two of them, as if they're the king and the queen of the castle, Sal and Tiffany of Comic Pop. Once again, congratulations on your guys' marriage in December.
Yay!
Congratulations.
And on that
We did
note,
it.
what we're going to do is we're going to transition away from this episode. The rest of the Comicstorian crew will be playing Mario Party Monopoly. Trust me, it's as annoying as Mario. Yes, look at her eyes. That's what we're going to be playing.
Dude, are you not friends with them? What the hell?
Won't be for long.
The last time we did this, we almost ended every friendship. So, since one of our Star Wars D&D people is unavailable today because he's not feeling well, we're like, well, we can't just cancel the stream, you know. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do
the
Mario
thing that-
Party Monopoly.
No.
So
That's like the
here's what it is. It's it's Monopoly, but everyone has powers. Like Natalie plays Bowser, and when Bowser goes around the board, he can pick up anybody's coins. And like if you land on Boo, Boo knocks your coins away. And it's just
Oh,
it's
that
so
sounds
annoying.
Your lives are over.
No.
Yes!
Someone is going to die in that house tonight. Stay tuned.
You should keep the
But
sharp objects away
here's
from
what'll
the
happen next. After this, Sal and Tiffany are going to go buy this because they don't want their friends anymore.
Exactly. Just destroy everything.
Burn it down.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're going to transition over to that. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to hang up the call so that we can go over to that as intended.
All right.
And we're going to be setting up, but the mics will be plugged in. You can chat with the Comicstorian crew while we get set up. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. On that note, bye, Weekly Poll members. I'll talk to you all in a bit.
Bye.
Peace, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.